All right, so here's how you open your textbook. So you're going to go to your science course, and at the left tab, you're going to scroll down through your course options. You're going to look for the app that's titled HMH. When you click that tab, you should be prompted to another window, and it might ask you to log in, it might not. Depends if you've saved the cookies when you do log on to HMH. So now I'm inside of my class. So now I have three assignments I need to work on. I have the You Solve It, how can you design a heat pack? I have the student ebook, and I have the student ebook lesson opener. I'm going to start off with the You Solve It, how can you design a heat pack? Okay, so I'm going to open this assignment now, and it should look something like this. It's a simulator. So in this simulator, I'm choosing the amount of magnesium that I'm going to be using. I'm choosing the amount of water I'm going to use, and I'm going to choose the starting temperature. Okay, so once I've had and selected those three variables, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my chemical process. So when I hit that orange button to start the chemical process, there's going to be a temperature versus time graph on my right, and I'm paying attention to these black dots and seeing how they connect, looking at the patterns of what happens during the entire time that this chemical process is reacting. Okay, so once this program has run its course, I'm going to look at my graph. So I'm going to go back to the criteria and determine, did my chemical process meet a temperature that was less than 52 degrees Celsius? Looking at my graph, I'm going to say no, it did not meet that criteria. Was it able to last 15 minutes, at least 40 degrees Celsius? Looking at my graph, looking at that black line, no, it did not. Right? It's right below the 40 degrees Celsius mark. Okay. Was my room temperature after this finished reacting, was it between 20 and 27? Yes, it was. It was 26. It met one of the criteria. Does my heat pack cost less than $4? Going back to the cost, it was $3.65. So did it cost less than the $4 mark? Yes. So only two criteria were met. So I'm going to go ahead and save this to notes. Right, I'm going to save this to my notes so that I can go back and add it after I'm all finished. Okay, so how do you save the to notes? There's the orange tab right next to the start chemical process. If I push this, when I go to my notes and report, I have on the left side a screenshot of all the graphs that I have done. Okay, and they just stay here until I need to use them for my report. So that's what happens every time that I click Save to Notes. Okay, so I might have to do a second trial since I didn't get the results I wanted, and I'm going to change the amount of water, change the amount of sodium, of magnesium, and I'm going to start the chemical process again. I'm going to let this video play, and I'm going to once again look at my temperature versus time graph and pay attention to what happens as this chemical process releases thermal energy. So what is taking place? Is it staying at the same temperature? Is it staying within the 52 and 40 degrees Celsius margin, right? Is it dropping to room temperature after it's done reacting? So I'm looking at my criteria once again, and if it met the criteria, right, I'm looking and it met my temperature, right? If I'm looking at the dotted lines, I see that the temperature for this heat pack was about 43 degrees Celsius, and I could see that this reaction lasted about 25 minutes. So it stayed warm for about 25 minutes. So once again, I'm looking at the criteria, looking at my results of my graph, and I'm going to save this to my notes. All right. So once I've saved this to my notes, and I found a graph that meets my heat pack, I'm going to go ahead and start typing my claim. Okay, so your claim is what was those results. You're telling me what was your findings. So in my claim, I would begin with the chemical process that meets the heat pack criteria is, and I'm going to talk about what were the amounts of magnesium that I used, what were the amounts of water, what were the amounts of temperature, starting temperature. So I'm going to explain that in the claim. My evidence, I'm going to add one of the graphs to my report. So which graph am I wanting to add? I could add more than one graph if I'm wanting to. I could just keep it and add one. So it's up to me to decide which graph I'm wanting to choose here for my evidence, right? So how do you do that? With your mouse, you're going to click where it says evidence, right beneath the bold, and I'm going to choose one of my graphs to input. I'm going to click where it says add to report, and it will automatically paste it to my document, right? So now I'm done with my evidence. Let me go to my reasoning. So now I'm going to explain how does this graph support my claim, saying that choosing 7 grams of magnesium, choosing 90 milliliters of water was the correct formula for the desired temperature. So in here, I'm explaining, I'm answering the following questions, right? What worked? I'm going to tell you what was the highest temperature. I'm going to tell you what was the lowest temperature, how much did it cost, how long did this hot pack stay warm, and that will conclude my report, right? Once I've done at least 3 to 4 sentence explanation. Okay, so I'm done, right? I have my claim, I have my evidence, and I have my reasoning. Okay, so now I will go ahead and I'm going to click the printer at the top right corner, and I'm going to have a preview, right? It looks something like this. I'm going to click that printer again, and where it says destination, I'm going to choose Save to Google Drive. Okay, once I've done that, Save to Google Drive, I will go ahead and make sure that you're choosing all pages, right? So I have how many ever pages I used, and you're going to click Save. All right, now I'm going to submit my lab report. So once again, I'm going to go to my class, and I'm going to scroll down to week 5, and I'm going to click on the following assignment, and I'm going to click Submit Assignment. Okay, once I click Submit Assignment, I have 3 options. I can either upload, create, or the Resources tab. I'm going to click the Resources tab. Under the Resources tab, I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to cycle through personal, group, and I'm going to click on apps. Once I click apps, I need to make sure that I'm selecting the Google Drive Resources app, okay? And it should be highlighted in gray. And once that's been set, I need to look for my simulation. So it's been saved to my Google Drive. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on the assignment and verify that that's the assignment I'm uploading. I'll get a preview of this PDF. I'm going to look at it, check very quickly that this is the assignment that I'm turning in, make sure my name is on it, make sure I answered all 3 questions. Perfect, that's the one. I'm going to click that blue box, and I'm going to click where it says import. Once I do that, I have successfully submitted my assignment, and I will get a timestamp. It'll tell me that I have successfully submitted this assignment.